Hi crafters, welcome back to another segment of Kiss Keep It Simple Sylvia. This is the third week in November, and for the month of November we're working on holiday decorations. And today we're going to continue with our cones. Last week we made a really beautiful wreath out of cones that we rolled up from pages in an old book. And we're going to continue to do the same thing for today's project, except today we're going to make a simple Christmas tree shape. And so just roll up a whole bunch of cones just like we did last week. I'm using an old book. Just tear out your pages, and as you do that, your pages tend to have a natural curve to them. And last week we kind of held it down here at this end and we coiled like that. This week we're going to kind of go about 3 inches up from the edge and let that be our focal point to coil our our cones. And we're just going to keep turning them around and around, and inevitably this last little flap right here ends up on the back. And if it ends up on the back, then we know we got it the width and depth that we want. Now sometimes when you're coiling, when you make them smaller like that, this little part right here comes around and it can peek around and show up as another point. You see how that's showing up as another point in the front? Well, you have two options. You can either cut it off or you can loosen up your cone. I just find that it's easier just to cut it off. So I'm just going to cut this little point off, and then we still have our cone. And just make up, it's quite a few of these. We're going to have several layers again like we did the last time. So make sure that you have a good amount, but it doesn't matter because if you run out, you know what? You can always make more. Not a big deal. So I think I've got enough coiled up. If not, I'll cut more. And I'm going to use this pizza box thing again, and I'm just going to cut a triangle out of it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark a center point up here at the top, and then I'm going to use my ruler to draw some straight lines. Now if I went from the center point to the corner of this, I'd have quite a fat tree, more of a slender kind of a look. Okay. What I'm going to do instead of going to all the way to the edge is I'm actually going to come in about maybe 2-3 inches off the edge here and draw a line. And let's see how far. Yeah, I came in about 2.5 inches on that. So I'll make sure I come in 2.5 inches on the other side. And I'm just going to mark it. And that way I'll make sure that I've got my triangle shaped the way I want it shaped. And it's equal on all sides. Okay, so then I've got my triangle drawn. And I'm just going to cut this out. Speeding up this clip because watching me cut cardboard is pretty boring. We want to make sure that we've got everything lined up in the center for this. So I'm just going to put a layer of hot glue down, and I'm just going to start from my center point. Now for the bottom here, what I'm doing is this little edge here, I'm kind of lining it up with the bottom of my triangle. See how I've lined that up, and I'm letting this hang over. That way I know I'll get some good coverage, and I'll cover up this cardboard. Although I don't mind the look of the cardboard peeking through, particularly when you tear off that top layer and you see the corrugation here. I think that's really kind of a cool look. Okay, so I got that, and then I'm going to just start laying these in, and we kind of want to be on an angle. We want it to look like that, so we're just going to have to try an angle as best we can. Now you might find that you might want to paint your cardboard just because of the way that this works, but I like the way the cardboard looks through, so it doesn't bother me. I think it definitely gives more of a rustic look to our little trees as we're making them. I'm laying down the first layer and I'm trying to get the cones that fit lined up together. You can see where I've had to switch a couple out. So now we've kind of got our first little layer in. Okay, and we're going to start building our second layer. And we want to start off of the center here because we want to make sure we have everything staggered properly. Okay, I'm going to speed this up and you can see that I'm just staggering for this next layer. I'm staggering all of the little cones. And when you glue them down, you want to make sure that not only do you put glue on the cardboard, but also a little bit on the layer down below that helps kind of hold it in place. And then you just keep building up your layers. And I found that sometimes it gets real, that hot glue is real hot. So I just stick a pencil in there to help hold it in place. And any places that you have gaps, you can always fill in as you go along. As you can see, I'm finishing up the little tree now, and those cones lay in real nice along the side to help cover up that cardboard. Now for the very top, it's important that you have a nice little point. So what I do is I lay two cones down, and then you'll notice I lay one in the center on the top to help form a real nice point to it. There we go, crafters. We have our cute little Christmas tree done. Let's see if I can zoom out. Isn't that cute? Don't you just love that? Love the way that looks? Cute little Christmas tree made out of our cones. Oh my gosh. It's so pretty. Okay, now you can decorate this. You could put a star up at the top, or you could just leave it the way it is. Now, there's a few little gaps here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some smaller cones, and I'm just going to fill in the gaps like that. That's the nice thing about making up these cones. You can make them any size that you need, and to help fill in those gaps. I did that with the wreath. When I had the wreath hanging up on my door, and I was sitting down one night looking at it, I'm going, oh, I see some gaps there. So then I was just able to make a few little cones and poke them in there and fill it in nicely. So that's what I'm going to do. And sometimes when you're doing that, when you're making corrections like that, because of the length of the cone, like if we shove it in here, it might not fit. But that one, it actually looks like it'll be okay. If that's the case, if you find that it doesn't fit in where you want to fill in the gap, you just kind of just cut the tip down. And then that way it'll poke in more for you. So I'm just going to put some hot glue on this and just poke it in here. And that'll set up. And then I'm going to do another one over here. I think is where I saw the gap. Yeah, right over here. So I'll do another one. Okay, I want to cut that one down a lot. Might have to, and if you cut them down a lot, you might have to restaple them. Yeah, I want that to fill in a little bit better there. Um, okay, that has a little fuller look to it. I like that better. I'll take a picture of it, and then I'll put the picture at the end of the film clip here so you can see how cute it is. It'd be cute to put a cute little star up on the top. You could put beads, so it look like garland, or you can just leave it alone. Okay, crafters, I hope that you enjoyed this segment of Kiss Keep It Simple Sylvia, where we made this cute little Christmas tree. And I hope that you'll be able to join me again next Friday. It's the Friday after Turkey Day, and I know a lot of you won't be able to, but the video will be up there for you to watch whenever you can. And I hope that you have a safe and happy Turkey Day. Enjoy your day with your family and friends. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me. Bye for now.